He remembers who lied, who used him, who enjoyed his pain. He carries every betrayal like a scar carved into stone. He will never beg again, never bow again, never shrink to make them feel bigger. He's the proof that cruelty failed. He's the reminder that the ones they try to destroy are the ones who become untouchable.
They tell stories about me now, quiet, half afraid, half obsessed. They say, he talks like he is not human anymore, like something walked out of its own grave and refused to lie back down. They are not wrong. I buried who I used to be. I put flowers on that version of me, said a prayer over their broken chest, and walked away. I did not hold a funeral. I held an execution. I watched my old self fall, the soft one, the begging one, the one who still believed that love alone could fix someone who enjoyed causing damage. That version of me was the first thing I ever killed. They tried to defeat me long before I became this. They tried when I was gentle, when I still cared, when I still believed in their promises. They thought breaking me would be easy. They thought all it would take was enough lies, enough silence, enough nights where I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, asking myself why I was never enough for them, even when I bled, trying to be. They were not trying to defeat the monster. There was no monster yet. They were trying to defeat a heart, and they did. They ripped it out with their teeth, smiled with blood on their lips, walked away like it was nothing. They did not know what happens when you leave a soul heartless and expect it to stay weak. I learned something in that hollow place inside my chest. Where a heart once lived, a fire started. At first, it was just a spark, a trembling little thing, afraid of its own light. Then came the disappointments, poured on me like gasoline. Then came the betrayals, thrown like matches. Then came the laughter behind my back, the whispered words, the smug little smirks that said, he will never rise from this. The fire listened. The fire grew. I did not grow in the sunshine. I grew in the dark. Everybody talks about light like it is the only holy thing. But I learned to pray in the black. I learned to stand in rooms where no one saw me, where no one cared if I disappeared. And I made a promise to the shadows. If no one comes, I will save myself. I kept that promise. I am not afraid of the dark anymore. I am the one it learned to fear. They say monsters live in shadows. They say demons are waiting in the corner of your mind. I opened the door and let them in. I did not scream. I did not run. I looked them in the eyes and said, if you are staying, then you work for me. And they did. Rage took orders. Pain carried bricks. Grief became mortar. Every memory, every wound, every night I could not breathe became material. I built myself from the ruins. I turned my own broken bones into scaffolding. I made my scars the steel beams. They were so sure they had ended me. They were so sure they had marked the final page of my story with their fingerprints. They did not understand. I am not a chapter in their book. I am the legend that walks out of the fire when the book is already burning. I am the legend they tried to defeat. I remember the exact moment it shifted, the moment the begging stopped, the moment the shaking stopped, the moment the tears dried up and turned to glass in my throat. I was standing there, hands empty, future shattered, surrounded by the wreckage of everything I loved, and something inside me whispered, no one is coming. It did not feel cruel. It felt clean. No one is coming, not to save me, not to apologize, not to fix what they broke. They will never admit what they did. They will rewrite every scene. They will tell everyone I was the problem, that I was the monster, that I was too much, too dark, too intense, too cold, too broken. They will never say, we built that monster with our bare hands. So I decided to stop waiting for their confession, stop waiting for their remorse, stop waiting for their mercy. I buried that need. I buried the hope that they would ever see me clearly, that they would ever look at me and say, we were wrong. That hope died, and in the grave that I dug for it, something else rose. The legend. Legend is a word people like to use when time has passed, and they feel safe again. They tell stories, shake their heads, say, remember what he became. But I did not become a legend later. I became it in the exact second I refused to stay small inside a world that wanted me helpless.
He walks through hell like it's just another road. The flames reach for him, but they do not touch him. The heat tries to break him, but he only smirks. Cigar clenched between his teeth, its ember burning as bright as his defiance. He doesn't speak to be heard. He exists to be felt. Now he watches, and they crumble, knowing he'll never need to speak again.
I was alone in the darkness. The kind of darkness that swallows sound, that smothers air, that claws at your chest with the cold hands of nothingness. Alone, not a soul to call, not a hand to hold, not a whisper of comfort. Just me, just the silence, just the weight of every broken piece inside me. But I didn't die there. No, I didn't crumble beneath the crushing weight. I didn't shatter into the void. I became something else, something unyielding, something forged in that abyss. Because that's what the darkness does when you're willing to fight. It takes you apart, piece by piece, until all that remains is the raw, unfiltered essence of who you are. And that's what I found. Beneath the fear, beneath the doubt, beneath the pain, I found the truth of me. The darkness thought it could break me, thought it could bury me in despair, but it only taught me how to see without light. My own breath became my guide. My heartbeat became my compass. Each ragged inhalation, a rebellion. Each beat of my heart a declaration. I am still here. I clawed my way through that black void, tearing through the chains that sought to hold me, that whispered that I would never escape. I felt the cold seep into my bones, but it didn't claim me. It tried to tell me I was weak, but the fire inside me burned hotter. It tried to tell me I was finished, but I was just beginning. I didn't need anyone to find me. No savior, no angel, no outstretched hand. The only one who could save me was myself. So I did. Step by step, inch by inch, I climbed out of that bottomless pit. The screams in my head didn't stop me. The memories that haunted me didn't stop me. The weight of every failure and betrayal didn't stop me. Pain became my teacher. It sharpened me. It taught me what I could endure, and then it pushed me to endure more. The fire in my veins wasn't extinguished. It was fed. Each trial, each torment, each hour spent in solitude made me stronger. The darkness didn't destroy me. It built me. I became my own weapon, my own shield, my own salvation. There was no one to save me. So I learned to be my own savior. And when I finally stood at the edge of that abyss, looking back at the shadows that tried to consume me, I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel sorrow. I felt power. Because I wasn't just someone who survived. I didn't just scrape by and call it victory. I conquered. I made the darkness mine. I didn't beg for light. I became it. Every wound became a lesson. Every scar became a badge. Every failure became a foundation to build something unbreakable. I see the world differently now. I walk with a purpose that no one else understands. I've seen what it means to be utterly alone, and I've learned to thrive in it. When others tremble in the shadows, I stand unshaken. When others falter at the first sign of hardship, I push forward without hesitation. I don't stop. I don't break. I don't retreat. This strength, this relentless, unyielding force that now drives me, didn't come from comfort. It didn't come from safety or love or peace. It came from the fire. It came from the storm. It came from the darkest corners of existence where no one dares to tread. I walked through hell, and I didn't just survive. I thrived. I claimed it. I made it mine. Now I am untouchable. Not because I'm invincible. Not because I'm immune to pain. But because I faced the worst of it. I've stared into the eyes of despair, and I didn't blink. I've walked through the valley of death, and I didn't falter. What else could this world possibly throw at me that I haven't already endured? So yes, I was alone in the darkness, but that's where I found my strength. That's where I became something more, something unstoppable. And now, as I step forward into whatever lies ahead, I carry that darkness with me, not as a burden, not as a curse, but as a reminder that I've already conquered the worst this world can offer. A reminder that no matter what comes next, I will face it head on. I will rise, I will fight, and I will win, because I am not like the rest. I am not fragile. I am not weak. I am not broken. I'm the exception, the fire that refuses to be put out, the storm that refuses to be calmed. The darkness didn't destroy me. It made me, and I will never forget that. So let the world come. Let the challenges rise. Let the storms rage. I am ready. I was alone in the darkness once, and I conquered it. I will conquer whatever comes next, because that's who I am now. Unstoppable, relentless, unbreakable. I became something far beyond human, something like a monster itself. Every scream, every betrayal, every shard of trust shattered beneath careless feet. It all fed the forge that reshaped me. And now, here I stand, unrecognizable, even to myself. I remember the beginning, though it feels like a dream now. Soft hands, a beating heart, a voice unbroken by rage. That was once me, but those hands couldn't hold the weight of the world. That heart was too fragile, too willing to bleed for others. And that voice could not cut through the noise, could not rise above the chaos. I was human then. I was weak. Weakness has no place in this world, not in mine. Weakness is devoured, consumed by the endless jaws of those who see it and smell it and crave it like blood in the water. I was devoured once. I let myself be torn apart, piece by piece. And when there was nothing left, when the world should have looked at me and turned away in pity, I found something waiting. Beneath the ashes of who I had been, there was something else, something raw, something endless. It wasn't rage, though it carried the taste of fire. It wasn't grief, though it was born of 1,000 deaths. It was a void, deep and black and alive, pulsing with a rhythm I had never known. It spoke to me without words, told me to rise when I wanted to stay buried, told me to take what I had never dared to take before. I listened.